Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're plunging into some news connecting, well, two worlds you might not immediately link: credit unions and blockchain technology.
That's right.
We have a press release here. It unpacks a pretty significant new partnership. Seems aimed at bringing some cutting-edge digital tools to these, pillars of community finance.
Exactly. And it's interesting because for decades, credit unions have built everything on trust, member service, that community connection.
Right.
But now in this fast-moving digital world, they face this challenge. How do you modernize but stay true to that core mission? So this source gets into how they're looking at blockchain. And not just to keep up, maybe even to lead the way.
Lead? How so?
Oh, in delivering faster payments, maybe stronger fraud protection, and just smarter digital tools for you, the members.
Okay, let's dig into that. Our mission here really is to understand why. Why are these institutions so rooted in traditional trust taking this leap into tech like blockchain?
Yeah, the why is crucial.
And what are the specific practical ways they actually plan to use it? How does it benefit the people they serve?
And the hook, like you said, isn't just the tech itself.
No.
It's how they plan to use this tech to make that trust stronger and services more accessible, maybe more secure.
And so the material frames this as a pretty bold move then. Modernizing financial services.
Absolutely. The goal is leveraging blockchain for those benefits: speed, security, smarter tools. We keep saying that, but it's central.
But crucially, while staying people first.
That's the key distinction they highlight. Remaining steadfastly people first. It kind of positions credit unions not just as adopters, but maybe innovators shaping how this tech is used in finance.
Okay, so who's actually driving this? The news seems to center on a new partnership. It's between Metallicus, they're the developer behind Metal Blockchain and GoWest Solutions.
Right, and it's not just like buying some software.
Right.
What this partnership offers is access to a collaborative innovation program, specifically for GoWest member credit unions. Think Arizona, Colorado, those western states.
So like a test lab.
Kind of, yeah. A sandbox, an incubator, focused on building blockchain solutions for key pain points: fraud prevention, digital identity, making operations more efficient.
And they mentioned security.
Yeah, a critical point mentioned is building it all on a secure, compliance-first infrastructure, which you absolutely need in finance.
Compliance first, definitely essential. Okay, let's zero in on the practical stuff.
Yeah.
What are the actual use cases they're exploring? What might this look like for a member?
Good question. It's not just theory. They're looking at specific applications. First up is something called Metal Pay for credit unions.
Okay, Metal Pay. What's the deal with that? How does blockchain fit in there for credit unions?
The source describes it as a white-labeled crypto-as-a-service wallet. So basically, a crypto wallet the credit union can brand as its own.
Crypto as a service.
Okay. And at its core, it uses tokenization and stablecoins. The aim is compliant digital payments and maybe even custody of digital assets.
Hold on, tokenization, stablecoins. Let's break that down. If I'm not deep into crypto, what does that actually mean for my credit union experience?
Sure. Think of tokenization like turning traditional money or maybe other assets into digital tokens that can zip around on a blockchain much faster.
Digital tokens, okay.
And stablecoins are basically cryptos designed to hold a steady value, usually pegged to something like the US dollar. So less of that wild crypto volatility.
Got it.
So Metal Pay could let credit unions handle these digital forms of value, maybe digital dollars compliantly. It could make transactions potentially way faster, maybe cheaper than old methods.
So bringing blockchain speed to everyday finance, but safely within the credit union system.
Exactly. Regulated safe, that's the idea.
Okay, faster digital payments,
Yeah.
handling digital assets safely, makes sense. What about identity? Proving who you are is fundamental in banking.
Absolutely. Which brings us to the next piece. Metal identity.
Metal identity.
It's a digital identity solution focused squarely on secure member authentication. It uses tech like verifiable credentials and single sign-on, SSO.
Verifiable credentials, SSO. Can you simplify those? How does that help me log in or prove who I am?
Right. SSO, you probably know, use one login for multiple services, saves hassle.
Yeah, like logging into different apps with Google or something.
Kind of like that, yeah. Verifiable credentials are more... well, they're like a super secure digital ID card or statement, but built for the online world using blockchain security.
How so?
Instead of splashing all your personal data everywhere online, you could use a credential from your credit union to prove something specific, like you're over 18, or you're a verified member without revealing your actual birth date or address every single time.
So more privacy.
Way more privacy, potentially, and more security. It could make verification much faster and smoother for you, the member.
Wow, okay. More secure, more private, and easier access. It does sound like enhancing member service.
It ties right back.
And speaking of security, fraud, that's a constant headache for banks and credit unions.
Oh, absolutely. And that's another key area for this program. Next-gen fraud prevention and risk mitigation.
Okay.
They're developing tools using things like private blockchain subnets and advanced access controls.
Private blockchain subnets. Sounds technical. How does that stop fraud better than current methods?
Imagine like a secure members-only side channel built on the main blockchain, just for specific sensitive stuff.
Okay.
That's kind of what a private subnet is. By using these, the credit union can share fraud detection info or verification data only with other authorized parties, say, another trusted institution securely, tamper-proof, without exposing it publicly.
So not out on the open internet.
Exactly. Combine that with really tight access controls, making sure only the right systems or people see specific data points, and you get a powerful new security layer.
And the benefit is
Faster, more coordinated fraud identification and reporting. It aims to spot suspicious stuff earlier and across more places, hopefully cutting down on fraud significantly. It's using that secure, distributed blockchain nature specifically against financial crime.
Okay, that really helps clarify how the tech serves those core credit union values.
Yeah.
Trust, security, efficiency. It's not just tech for its own sake.
Precisely.
Let's bring in some voices from the source. Troy Stang, he's the president and CEO of GoWest Credit Union Association. He seems to view this as just, well, the next logical step for credit unions.
Yeah, his quotes really emphasize that credit unions have always led with trust, purpose, and actually technology relevant to their members. He sees this partnership letting them leverage those strengths even more.
To shape the future?
Effectively shape it, yeah. He talks about exploring things like blockchain, stablecoins, digital identity, but in ways that are secure, compliant, and really rooted in member needs. His whole vibe is building what's next together.
Building what's next together. That really clicks with the credit union model, doesn't it? That collaborative spirit.
It does. And Cameron Smith, GoWest Chief Growth Officer, he echoes that strongly.
What does he add?
He talks about collaboration and bold innovation being essential for building the future of finance. He says this partnership specifically opens the door for credit unions to collectively shape these cutting-edge blockchain solutions.
So they're not just users, they're co-creators.
That's the idea, creating smarter, safer, more agile ways to serve members as the financial world keeps changing.
And what about the tech side? Frank Massa from Metallicus, he's the director of blockchain for institutions and fintechs. He sounds pretty enthusiastic.
Yeah, he seems genuinely excited. He points to the GoWest network as this powerful group, ready and positioned to lead the next wave of financial innovation.
So he sees potential there.
Definitely. He says Metallicus is thrilled to partner, and their goal is making blockchain real, relevant, and accessible for credit unions, not just some abstract tech.
Real and relevant. And it sounds like the credit unions taking part are actually getting their hands dirty, not just waiting for finished products.
Exactly. The source makes a point that participating credit unions will play a hands-on role shaping these tools from the ground up.
Why is that so important?
Because it helps ensure the solutions are practical, actually secure in a real-world setting, and designed with everyday people, the members, in mind, based on how credit unions really operate.
So this isn't about abandoning the traditional credit union promise. It's finding new ways to deliver it.
That's the narrative, leveraging new tools for the digital age. For over a century, it was trust, community, service.
Right.
Now they believe this blockchain innovation lets them deliver that same promise, just potentially faster, safer, maybe more powerfully.
Enhancing old values with new tech.
You got it. And crucially, this innovation program, it's available at no cost to all GoWest member credit unions. That lowers the barrier to entry for exploration.
Good point. Accessibility matters. Okay, just to round out the picture, who are these partners again, briefly? GoWest Solutions.
Right, they connect credit unions across 6 western states, Arizona, Colorado, Idaho, Oregon, Washington, Wyoming, with innovative partners.
Their mission.
All about creating value for those CUs, enhancing efficiency, cutting costs, helping them serve members better. They work with nearly 300 credit unions in that region.
Okay, and Metallicus.
They're positioned as a leader in blockchain specifically for financial institutions. They developed something called the Digital Banking Network, TDBN.
TDBS.
Yeah, think of it as an open source blockchain protocol built for banking. It integrates secure digital identity and stablecoin features right in. They also offer tools like wallets.
And they understand credit unions?
Seems so. They have a CUSO division, a credit union service organization. That's key. CUSOs are set up to serve credit unions. This division focuses specifically on providing CUs with blockchain infrastructure for things like real-time settlement, automating compliance, improving member services. That CUSO structure suggests they get the model.
Okay, that definitely provides some solid context. So let's bring this back to you, the listener.
Yeah, what we've really unpacked today is how credit unions, through this GoWest and Metallicus partnership, are actively, getting involved with blockchain.
Not just watching from the sidelines.
Right, and focusing on tangible stuff. Making digital payments faster and compliant, locking down your digital identity, building better tools to fight fraud. It all points back to enhancing trust, speed, and security.
So the real takeaway for you is that these institutions, the ones built on decades of community trust, are now working to make your banking potentially faster, safer, more secure. They're doing it by adopting and even helping build these advanced digital tools.
Which leads to a pretty interesting thought to leave you with. How does this combination, this intersection of, let's say, deep-rooted community trust and this really cutting-edge, sometimes complex tech like blockchain, how does that fundamentally change what you might expect from your financial institution down the road? What new possibilities open up when those traditional values actively drive the creation of future technology, all designed ultimately with you, the member, in mind?